Hello everybody. Today you're going to learn about equations of circles. So just like you've learned equations of lines and parabolas, etc., circles have a specific form of an equation, which means you'll be able to find any ordered pair on the circle from the equation. So suppose you're given a circle whose center is the origin and the radius is 5 units as shown. Name 4 ordered pairs along the circle, which are the ones on the axes. So that means 5, 0, 0, 5, negative 5, 0, and 0, negative 5. Suppose the point 3, y is on the circle in quadrant 1. So 3y draw it on the circle. Connect AO and A to 3, 0. What kind of triangle did you just form? So this is kind of like those circle problems that you were working on this week. So it's a right triangle. Write the lengths of the sides that you know and y for the sides you don't know. So we have 3, y, and then we know the radius or the hypotenuse is 5. So use Pythagorean theorem to calculate y, or you might have realized that's a 3, 4, 5 special right triangle. So y equals 4. So that means the ordered pair 3, 4 is a solution to the equation that we're going to find in just a minute. So you can actually do this process to find any missing point on the circle, but then we're going to get the equation in just a minute. So we have, suppose the point B, which is located at x, negative 4, but is in quadrant 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So x, negative 4. Draw it on the circle and find x using Pythagorean theorem. So again, the hypotenuse is 5. The x, and then negative 4, or just 4 for the triangle. And then you could use Pythagorean theorem, or you know it's a 3, 4, 5 special right triangle. So the x, now is it positive or negative? Well, to plot the ordered pair, you're going left, so it's negative 3. So that's a point on the circle. Suppose the point 2, y is on the circle in quadrant 4. We draw the triangle as we've been doing. 2, y, and 5. The radius is always 5. So now that's not a special, so you're going to use Pythagorean theorem. So 4 plus y squared equals 25. Subtract 4. Y squared equals 21. 21 is 3 times 7, so there's no perfect square. So y is the square root of 21. And it is in quadrant 4, so that is a negative answer that we're looking for. So now, suppose dxy is a point on the circle. Write an equation in terms of x and y that represents their relationship. So you just pick a random point. We're going to call it x, y. And then here's the radius. So then you're going to say x squared plus y squared. Oh, the radius is still 5, so I should leave that in there, equals 5 squared, right? That's the relationship. So the equation of the circle is x squared plus y squared equals 25. And that's how we're going to leave it. You could solve for y, but then you get a plus or minus square root. You'll talk more about that in Algebra 2. For us, this is going to work. And you can go back and plug in any of the points from this question. Even the points on the axis, like 5, 0, would still work. 5 squared plus 0 squared. Oh yeah, 25 equals 25. So this is used to generate all the ordered pairs that land on the circle. Now suppose the radius is 4. So there is a point 2 comma y in quadrant 2. So, quadrant 1, sorry. So 2 comma y. So 2 is the x, y we don't know, and the radius is 4. Okay, so let's use Pythagorean theorem. 2 squared plus y squared equals 4 squared. 4 plus y squared is 16. Subtract 4, y squared is 12. Square root both sides is technically the plus or minus square root of both sides. And then that's square root of 4 times the square root of 3. So 2 radical 3. We're in quadrant 1, so the positive answer is good. So 2 radical 3. And now x comma y. So any point, doesn't matter what quadrant, just call it x, y. So what's the radius? 4. So it's Pythagorean theorem. X squared plus y squared equals the radius squared, or x squared plus y squared equals 16. Now suppose the radius is r. Okay, so now we don't know the radius. Well, then it's just x squared plus y squared equals r squared. So this is the equation of a circle whose center is the origin. You could even type these into Desmos and see the circles that way as well. So that can go in your vocab list. Number 4. Suppose we translate the first circle. So the radius is 5, but now the center is 2 comma 3. Write the lengths of each leg of the right triangle in terms of x and y. Okay, so we're going to find let's find the base of this triangle here. Okay, well, we know that this x coordinate is going to be x and then comma 3, right? That point is x comma 3. And then, so now you can find the length of each side. So this length is x minus 2. And this length, so you subtract the y's, y minus 3. So now let's write the equation for Pythagorean theorem. So r is the radius. So it would be x minus 2 squared plus y minus 3 squared equals 5 squared, or 25. So this equation is this equals 25. Now, if you were to type that into Desmos, you would get that exact circle. So now, suppose the center is HK, the radius is R, and the point is XY. Write an equation using Pythagorean theorem. Okay, so it becomes x minus the x coordinate squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. And HK is the center, and R is the radius. So this can go in your vocab as the equation of any circle given the center and the radius. All right? So now if you don't know the center or the radius, you may need to do additional calculations to determine them. So here's some examples. Write the equation of the circle whose radius is 8 and center 4, -1. So the general form is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. So x minus 4 squared plus y, now it's minus -1 squared equals 8 squared. So you just write it out this way, and you're done. And you don't have to do any foiling, you just leave it in this form. Number 2, graph the circle with equation x squared plus y plus 3 squared equals 49. So now using that, that's the same as x minus 0 squared plus y plus 3 squared equals 49, or 7 squared, right? So then the center is 0, -3, and the radius is 7. Now, if that wasn't a perfect square there, the radius would be a radical, it'd be irrational, so you just estimate the spot on the graph. So the center is 0, -3. The radius is 7, so we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then just sketch it, or actually you would use your compass, but you could just sketch it, and there it is. If you're wondering where this -3 came from, it's because the form is minus h and minus k, so you would rewrite that as y minus -3 squared, so that becomes negative. So it's always the opposite there. All right, last example. Write the equation of this circle. You're given the center and a point on the radius. So in order to use the form, which we'll write again, you need the center and the radius. So you know the center, x minus -4, y minus 2, and now the radius is what's missing. So how can we get this length? Oh, distance formula. Or you could actually use a Pythagorean theorem, but let's use distance formula. So square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. So I used 1, 2. Okay, so square root of, let's see, -1 plus 4 is 3, 3 squared is 9. 4 minus 2 is 2, squared is 4, square root of 13 is the radius. So that's the square root of 13 squared. Make sure you put that in there, squared. Simplify. And then if you put it into Desmos, you will see that it is the correct circle. So as always, if you have questions, email me. Otherwise, have a great day. Test is coming up, I believe, on Monday. Take care.